Hello students, we are going to learn general science for class 8 from the book Science Square. Today we are going to learn reproduction in animals. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about different modes of reproduction, sexual reproduction. We are going to discuss about male and female reproductive organs, about fertilization, development of embryo, difference between viviparous and oviparous animals, and about asexual reproduction. Let us begin the chapter. What is reproduction? What are its types? Reproduction is a process by which living organisms produce more living organisms of its own kind. There are two types of reproduction in the living organisms, namely asexual reproduction. It is nothing but the process of reproduction in which new individuals are produced from a single parent. It includes microbes, single-celled organisms such as bacteria, plants, and fungi. Sexual reproduction. It is a process of reproduction in which plants, two individuals are involved to produce a new individual. That is, reproduction is the process of producing the young ones of its own kind. There are two types of reproductions, namely asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction involves only one parent, and it includes microbes, single-celled organisms. On the other hand, sexual reproduction involves two individuals, that is both the parent, to produce a single individual. Sexual reproduction. In animals, males and the females have different reproductive organs. The reproductive parts in animals produce gametes, which fuse together to form a zygote. Gametes is male from male. We'll get male gametes from the male reproductive organ. We'll get female gametes from the female reproductive organ. Both fuses together to form a zygote, which develops into a new individual. This type of reproduction, beginning from the fusion of the male and the female gametes, we'll call it as a sexual reproduction. We are going to discuss about male reproductive organs and the female reproductive organs. Male reproductive organs. It includes a pair of testes, two sperm ducts, and a penis. The testes produce the male gametes called sperms. There are millions of male gametes produced by the testes. The sperms are very small in size, with head, middle piece, and a tail. Sperm is a single cell with all usual cell components. The picture shows the male reproductive system, which has a pair of testes, two sperm ducts, and a penis. Female reproductive organs. Female reproductive organs has a pair of ovaries, oviducts, or also called as fallopian tubes, and the uterus. The picture shows two fallopian tubes on the either side of the uterus, ovaries on both the sides of the fallopian tube, uterus. Ovary produces female gametes called ova. The male produces sperms. Female produces ova. In human beings, a single matured egg is released by one of the ovary into the oviduct every month. Uterus is a part where the development of baby takes place. An egg is also called a single cell. Let us see what is the meaning of fertilization. The process of fertilization is a fusion of male gamete, that is a sperm, with a female gamete, ovum, is called fertilization. Zygote is formed after fertilization. What are the two types of fertilization? There are two types of fertilization in animals, namely external fertilization and internal fertilization. Internal fertilization. When fertilization takes place inside the body of the animals, we call that as a internal fertilization. It is seen in humans, cows, dogs, and hens. External fertilization. When fertilization takes place outside the body of the animal, it is called external fertilization. It is seen in aquatic animals such as fish, starfish, etc. During the spring or the rainy seasons, frogs and toads move to ponds and rivers. When the male and the female come together in water, the female lay the eggs, the male deposits sperms over them. Each sperm swims randomly in water with the help of its long tail. The sperms come in contact with the eggs. The picture shows the eggs of the frog. Development of embryo. The fertilization results in the formation of zygote. The zygote divides repeatedly to give rise to a ball of cells. The cells then begins to form groups that develops into different tissues and organs of the body. This developing structure is called an embryo. The embryo gets implanted in the wall of the uterus for further development. The stage of the embryo in which all the body parts can be identified, we'll call it as a fetus. When the development of the fetus is complete, then the mother gives birth to the baby. So, after fertilization, zygote is formed. Zygote undergoes repeated divisions to form a ball of cells. Then it begins to form the groups to get it identified as different tissues and organs. After the formation of developed structure, we'll call that as embryo. This embryo gets implanted in the wall of the uterus for the further development. The embryo, when has the proper parts, we call it as a fetus. When the development of the fetus is complete, the mother gives birth to the young ones. Internal fertilization in hen. After fertilization, the zygote divides continuously and moves to the oviduct. As it travels down, many protective layers are formed around it. The hard shell in the hen's egg is a protective layer. After the hard shell is formed, the hen finally lays the egg. The embryo takes about 3 weeks to develop into a chick. The hen sits on the eggs to provide sufficient warmth. After the chick is completely developed, it bursts open the eggshell. This is the fertilization that takes place in the hen. Let us discuss the difference between the viviparous and the oviparous animals. The animals which give birth to the young ones are called viviparous animals. Example, human being, dogs, cows. The animals which lay eggs are called oviparous animals. Example, hen, frog, etc. Young ones to adults. Direct development. See, when the young ones develop into adult, there are two processes. The development may be direct or the development may be indirect. In case of direct development, the young ones will be resembling the adult. Like example, hen, man, monkey, etc. When you happen to see the life cycle of hen, you can see it is a direct development. The chick resembles the adult. In case of indirect development, the young ones of an animal do not resemble the adult. Yes, if you can see this in a frog, butterfly, silk, moth, etc. You can see the caterpillar becoming a chrysalis, then it is becoming a butterfly. So we don't know the difference between the younger one and the adult one. Young ones to the adults. In case of indirect development, transformation of young ones into the adult through drastic changes takes place. This process of transformation is called metamorphosis. Larva of butterfly undergoes metamorphosis to become a butterfly. A tadpole undergoes metamorphosis to become a frog. Asexual reproduction methods. Budding is the first method in which is seen in hydra and sponges. It is a small bud or bulge which develops on the body. After developing the bud, it gets detached from the parent body to begin life as a new individual. Since new individuals develop from the buds, this is called asexual reproduction, and the process is known as budding. Asexual reproduction by binary fission. In this method, an organism, say amoeba, divides to form two daughter cells. First, the nucleus divides and forms two daughter nuclei. Then, the cytoplasm in the mother cell divides into two daughter cells. This leads to the formation of two daughter cells with having nucleus and the cell organelles, which then develop into a fully formed adult. The first picture in the picture shows the parent cell having two nucleus division, cytoplasmic division, and then two daughter cells. Let us have a chapter recap. There are two modes of reproduction: sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Reproduction resulting from the fusion of male and the female gametes is called sexual reproduction. The reproductive organs in the female include ovaries, oviducts, and uterus. The reproductive organs in the male include testes, sperm ducts, and penis. The ovary produces female gametes called ova, and the testes produce male gametes called sperms. The fusion of sperm and the ovum is called fertilization. The fertilized egg is called a zygote, which divides repeatedly to give rise to an embryo. Animals which give birth to the young ones are called viviparous animals, while animals which lay eggs are called oviparous animals. Asexual reproduction takes place by budding and binary fission. This ends the chapter.